Let's talk about Phil, Jeff. 36th, as you mentioned. He gets the nod on the President's Cup team. Do you think that is the little boost that he maybe needed to cap off this year, maybe have a good finish at the BMW, play himself to Atlanta, and cap off this 2016-17 season?
I think for Phil, the team events, it's extra motivation for him. I think the President's Cup is a bigger motivator than even playing at Eastlake. It's all about, for him, this international competition. It's brought out the best golf in him, really, ever since he won the British Open a few years ago. That was his last victory on tour. But since that time, he played great at the President's Cup in Korea. He was fantastic at the Ryder Cup last year. And I think he's going to be great again at Liberty National, because there's just something about these team events that give him that spark. I think he's rounding into form just in time again.
What do you think, Dylan? You saw Phil up in Boston. He talked a lot about having trouble the last few months about visualizing his shots, especially his short game. His focus was off, and he actually had that addressed by a doctor. He didn't get into the details what the doctor found, but he said up in Boston that was the most focus he's felt in months. Did you see a little bit of a change in Phil in the way he played up at the Dell compared to what we've seen this year?
Sure, yeah. I mean, he looked more engaged, I think, than we've seen him since the breakup with Bones. It was interesting watching him with his caddy, with his different team members just around the putting green. It was really fascinating to watch Phil, but I'm not sure this is necessarily going to be his week, just because every year or every event this year with Phil, it's like you expect him to do one thing, he does the other. But I actually think that that's okay. If he doesn't have a good week, maybe he gets an extra week off to prepare for the President's Cup. And I think you're right, Jeff, that he draws so much energy from being around the American team, from being in team competition, that I think that'll be, that's where he really wants to be anyway.